Giant mountain view, 4,627 feet. Well, it's August 22nd, 8:45 in the morning, and I am taking a hike in the Adirondacks. I'm going to be going 7.8 miles up to two high peaks, mountains, Giant Mountain and Rocky Ridge. I think it's called Rocky Ridge Peak. This year I was not able to do my summer section of the Appalachian Trail, so this is a new venture for a couple days here in the Adirondacks. Looking forward to it. Beautiful day. So the beginning of this trail is very steep and, as you can see, very rocky. Just going straight up so far. So it continues to go straight up. This is the first half mile to a mile, I guess, of this trail. Oh, here we go, leveling off. Nice. And after a 5-second reprieve, up we go. Jeez, this is steep. No nonsense here. So this is the trail so far. Basically slabs of boulders littering the trail. The trail really is boulders. So it's a straight up climb, really. It's not really walking, it's more climbing. So that makes it, this is a very slow pace. This is my first viewpoint on the trail. Lovely lake down here, Chapel Lake. So I'm now on another very steep and rocky ascent towards Giant Mountain. Wow, this is steep. So this is, I think, the steepest grade of trail I will ever have hiked. It's just, it feels like a 90-degree angle. I know it isn't, but wow. All right, up we go. Up we go. So just to point out that well, of course, is continuing to be steep in the ascent. There have been now switchbacks, which, as opposed to going straight up the mountain, so that is making it much more user-friendly, if I can use that phrase for this trail. So here's a switchback right here, and this immediate section is relatively flat. So that's greatly appreciated. And turning again. So this is my first look back at the peaks following this scramble. Kind of a scary scramble, I'm gonna admit that. This is what I just came up. Serious stuff here. Still climbing up the giant mountain, but look at the views already. So this is I believe the last roughly 3/10 of a mile to the summit of Giant Mountain. It's another scramble, pretty much straight up, but we're just about there. So looking at this rock scramble, it seems like I don't know how people do this, but I guess I'm going to be one of those people in just a minute. Here we go. Well, that was an incredible view. Maybe the deepest view, the longest view, the most expansive view I've ever seen on a mountain. It wasn't quite a 360, but it was, what you could see was remarkable. Vermont actually was visible, mountains of Vermont to the far left, and the center, all the way to the high peaks, more towards the center and right. And this is also an incredibly challenging hike up. This is the hardest hike I've ever done already. And now I'm going down, which I am quite concerned about, but we'll make it happen. So I've decided to go for a second peak, Rocky Ridge Peak. So I'm beginning a 1.2 mile journey to that peak. It's supposed to be a 360-degree view. Looking forward to it. Oh, this is just a few steps onto the Rocky Ridge Peak Trail, and look at these views. So I'm descending some 700 feet in half a mile, so incredibly steep going down, and obviously will be the same coming up. But right now, a really steep and long stretch going down. Well, I just had an interesting experience. I was coming down this right here, and I didn't really feel comfortable coming down here. I didn't feel safe. I decided to turn back. I started to walk back up the trail, and then I sort of stopped myself, gathered myself, and said, let's take another look at it. And was able to stay calm enough, and I just kind of, went on my behind over here, and then was able to walk the steps down this way. So we'll keep going towards Rocky Ridge Peak. Well, I believe I just finished this almost ridiculously steep descent of 0.7 miles. I mean, again, I had to turn around at one point, thinking I couldn't figure out a way down, and I kind of regrouped and figured it out. But just a relentless descent, steep, quite a test of endurance and focus, because you have to pay total attention to what you're doing here to avoid missteps. So right now I'm finally on level terrain, and we'll be shortly ascending to Rocky Peak Ridge. So I assume we're very close to the Rocky Ridge Peak. This is the first section in the entire mile plus to get here that has been reasonably level. It's either been straight down or up. Rocky Ridge Peak. I believe it's 4,420 feet. Big vehicle.
The keys are in it. Then she don't. Then
well, once we get up to the other intersection, then we'll.
Yeah. So like for my birthday, let's say if there was a Lake Placid hostel back then, probably around 2001. And we had just hiked Hurricane with my wife, and like
Whatever, yeah.
hostel owner was like, "Oh, you're gonna hike all 46 now?" I was like, "Well, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, there's only 5 people."
So heading back down the trail for my return. I need to go back to Giant Mountain first before I continue down to end this odyssey. So now going back up the extraordinarily steep 0.7 miles back to the Giant Mountain area, from which I will then descend down to my car. It's going to take quite a while to do both of those parts, but here we go. This is the type of terrain I'm going up. It requires grabbing onto trees, roots, trying to sort of sprint up with the momentum you have. This is as hard as it gets from my experience. This is a view as I am very close to getting back to the trail to Giant Mountain. Look at this view. It's completely still. I just came from Rocky Peak Ridge, and now I'm going to go down Ridge Trail 2.8 miles to my car. And here's the beginning of that steep, steep descent, the last long leg of the day. Well, this steepness is completely beyond anything I've ever experienced. The only way to get down much of this will be on my behind in a crawling fashion, basically. I don't know how they expect people to hike this stuff, but we will do it. Beautiful spot here as I work my way down the trail. So beautiful. Another view as I descend Giant Mountain. Just an interesting and I think important phenomenon here. I was very concerned that these rock slabs on the way down Giant Mountain would be extraordinarily challenging on many levels, and there was one that was. I could barely get down it. I was finally figured out how to do it by going along the side, but the last several have not caused any real stress. It's just been enjoyable to see the magnificent views and to stride along the open rock. Really spectacular, spectacular. So this is the trail, how steep it is. It's like a 90-degree drop. Continuing down. So there's Giant's Washbowl, the pond that we encountered early on in the hike. So now we're coming towards it. So I'm navigating the final descent. I'll guess it's a quarter mile to the road. Still very steep. Still have to watch pretty much every step. Endless rocks and boulders, as you can see. So, to give a recap, to give an overview of this hike, yes, it had two magnificent overlooks, no question. That Giant's Mountain and Rocky Ridge Peak. But beyond that, or besides that, it was the most grueling, demanding hike I've ever been on, by far, not even a close second. There's not 1 mile that I've done out of the 850 miles of the Appalachian Trail that rivals any of the miles that the 8 miles that I did here. It will have taken me, I believe, over 8 hours to go 8 miles today. 1 mile in an hour. That's how grueling it was. It required relentless focus on every step with the constant rocks and boulders and roots. It required, at times, risky and I would say even dangerous moments on the trail, especially primarily in terms of the very steep open boulders, going up Giant Mountain and down Giant Mountain. But in addition, you know, the risks and dangers were virtually in every step, where if you make a misstep, you know, you can get hurt. So I'm not gonna, but I can't say that I love this trail or even enjoyed the trail. Today was about a challenge and a learning experience, challenging myself to do Adirondack high peaks, 2 of them in one day, which I did, and learning what it would take if I should ever do the White Mountains on the Appalachian Trail, learning the kind of intensity and grit and endurance that it would take to do that. So a great learning experience, a great achievement personally for me. I'm not sure if I'll do other Adirondack hikes. I might very well do that after I get a rest from this one. But that said, quite a day, an amazing day, just literally about to end now in a few feet.